Picture this. The Detroit Lions are in the thick of preseason, sweat dripping from helmets under the unforgiving summer sun, pads pounding the turf at Ford Field, and the scent of backyard barbecues riding in on a cool breeze from the empty stands. Every drill, every snap, every missed tackle building up to that crisp September day when it all counts. We're all sitting on the edge, clutching our frosty cans of beer, waiting for the team to finally flip the script on the heartbreaks of seasons past. Remember the last wild card push? That choke versus the Rams still stings, like an old bruise that just won't heal. This camp has grit written all over it. But just as the juice was flowing, something shifted under the hood. Now, imagine. You're leaning across the bar during one of those halftime Lions talks. Someone lowers their voice just enough so the whole room leans in and says, "Something big is moving." You feel that pulse, that tempered tension amid the Honda Town faithful, but nobody's spilling the beans just yet. Suspense twists through the conversations, the kind of whisper that makes you replay the last joint practice over and over like a hard-hit highlight. The Lions have built their offense like a well-oiled machine feeding off run and play action, with Dan Campbell and Ben Johnson scheming plays tighter than an overfilled toolbox. And that tight end position? That's the linchpin, the guy who catches the tip balls and somehow turns broken plays into momentum. But here's the wrinkle nobody wanted to hear. The engine sputtering where it's supposed to roar the loudest. Sam LaPorta, the rookie sensation, that fearless hybrid weapon off the draft board who's been turning heads since the moment he put on Honolulu Blue, he's off the field this weekend. Preseason's final test without him. The source? Word is he's got a minor injury that won't drag out weeks, but it's enough to bench him for the Miami Dolphins opener. No Dan Campbell details, just that he'll be out a little bit. That's Detroit speak for. Hold tight. We're working on it, but every fan knows the tight end's heartbeat is crucial. LaPorta, with his rookie contract and draft capital still burning bright, was supposed to be the secret sauce for this offense, a safety valve, a mismatched nightmare for linebackers, and a genuine contributor in both blocking schemes and route trees. Now the depth chart gives us a crisis with a silver lining. Wright steps up, the veteran known for reliability more than spectacle. Since 2021, Wright has shown he can produce when the spotlight hits hard over 50 catches, 9 touchdowns. Not a flashy Pro Bowler, but the kind of steady hands you want when the chips are down. He's been the ride-or-die backup, waiting for his moment like a pit boss watching the chips, and now he's sitting in the driver's seat, at least for the short run. And trust me, in a Dan Campbell offense that blends smash mouth with sporadic finesse, Wright's ability to move the chains could be the hinge between a shaky preseason and a confident Week 1 start. But while we appreciate Wright's role, let's be clear, LaPorta isn't just a piece on the chessboard. He's that wild card, the kind drafted 39th overall, with the kind of upside that gets Lions fans dreaming beyond mere .500 hope. His chemistry with Jared Goff, his knack for finding seams, those critical blocks springing Dandre Swift into daylight. There's a real storyline here. And if he's missing snaps now, how much rust will the offense have to shake off? That question echoes louder than a hound dog's howl on a Detroit winter night, when the city's blood just won't settle without its team charging forward. And that's where the stakes hit home for us. Every injury, every roster shake reverberates. Like that time when Matthew Stafford limped through playoffs, or when Calvin Johnson's retirement left a gaping hole no highlight reel could quite patch. We've gotten cocky before. And we know how fast the narrative changes, the optimism fleeting, like snowflakes melting on the grill of a Ford. So the question nobody's talking about enough, who really benefits from this shuffle? How will it mess with the timing, the play action, the protection packages that Ben Johnson so meticulously calls? And what of the ripple effect? More snaps for Wright means fewer for someone else, right? Could this open a window for a third tight end? Or push guys to flex into new roles? The whole lineup is a bullpen jostle, a summer of playing musical chairs with livelihoods and legacies hanging on. In a locker room whisper, you can almost hear someone joke, "Hey, Brock, make sure you're catching them all golf's counting on you more than his fantasy league this year." Humor aside, this isn't just preseason jitters. This moment feels like a turning point, not just for a player, but for our entire offensive heartbeat. Detroit fans know better than most every snap loss in summer's glow can translate to a cold Monday night under floodlights, where the margin for error is a fumble or two. The city's hunger hasn't gone anywhere. If anything, it's angrier. After every close call, every offside penalty, every missed route. So here's the cliffhanger. Will LaPorta return firing on all cylinders come week one? Or will this hiccup force Ben Johnson and Dan Campbell to improvise a new look offense early? Can Brock Wright hold the fort, or are we watching a signal flare for a potential shakeup at tight end depth that nobody's ready to talk about? And what sides of the Lions' rivalries will smell this weakness first? Miami's defense could sense blood, or these brief flashes of adversity might force Detroit's group tighter than ever, ready to run through the steel and snow for a last shot at glory. Ford Field's lights might not be on yet, but trust me, the storm is gathering right here, right now, and in Detroit. When the unexpected hits, the true grit fans rise hardest. The countdown's ticking, the stage is set, and the real battle? It's just getting started. Listen up, Lions faithful, we're on the brink of something raw and real, and any second now, the game itself could mirror what's happening in those locker room shadows, where legends are born and broken. That injury to LaPorta isn't just a minor setback. It's a window open just wide enough for chaos to pour through. And if Brock Wright can't step up, then what? We're talking about a veteran with over 50 catches and 9 touchdowns ready to carry the weight. But in Detroit's grindhouse offense, reliability only gets you so far when the playbook's got that one wild card, unpredictability. Hell, if this isn't a wake-up call, I don't know what is. Remember those gut-wrenching playoff moments, the kind that leave scars etched deep into Detroit's soul, like Stafford limping through seasons or Calvin's jaw-dropping absences. Those wounds still sting, and this tight end turbulence might be the seed for the next chapter of heartbreak or revival. And here's where it cuts deeper. If LaPorta's absence causes any disruption in timing, it could nudge the offense out of sync just enough for Miami's defensive sharks to sniff weakness, especially with their secondary tightening up more with each preseason rep, making that first drive a battleground. Meanwhile, Dan Campbell's squad has built its identity on grit, but the roster math is ruthless. Each injury sends shockwaves through the depth chart, forcing someone else to slide into a new role under the Louisville spotlight, maybe even carving out space for a third tight end or swapping a receiver into the slot more often. That's roster chess. And the winners are often the ones who improvise fastest. And the ripple effects. If Wright gets the call early, everyone from Amon-Ra to Jahmyr Gibbs might have to reset route timing. And that's where the offense's rhythm turns fragile one misstep. And that meticulously crafted play action could unravel like a cheap sweater. Hell, even the NFC North is glancing our way, quietly breath-holding as they monitor the Lions' stew of injuries and moves, waiting for any crack to pounce. A team like Green Bay still licking its wounds, or Minnesota sensing an opening, could smell blood if we falter. Last season's close calls and near misses have cultivated a Lions' hunger. And trust me, no one here took this loss lightly. But here's the stinger while Detroit's brass keeps a poker face. Inside that war room, the chess game is heating up. Do they escalate the search for that magic third tight end? Or do they gamble everything on Wright and a reshuffled line? That might just be their best shot. That decision, inked in the shadows, could define the entire season, either cementing a gritty resilience or exposing a vulnerability the league's swift to exploit. And just when you think it's all set, here's the wild twist. Rumors swirling say the Lions have been quietly eyeing a veteran free agent, a name that could add a spark or chaos depending on how they're utilized. But with cap space dwindling, hiding the move in plain sight, what's clear is this: the engine that powers Detroit's offense is running on fumes or fire, And the next few days might just unlock either our darkest fears or our brightest hopes, because the NFL doesn't give you second chances that easy, especially when it's the Lions' blood on the line. So, what happens if LaPorta doesn't bustle back just in time? Does Campbell dial into that old-school grit, leaning more on Swift, Gibbs, and Waddle? Or is there some dark horse waiting in the wings, a rookie or a sleeper who's been lurking, unseen, ready to leap into the spotlight when the city's counting on him most? The stakes extend beyond the X's and O's. This is about Detroit's soul, about proving that resilience runs thicker than steel, that no injury or setback can break what's been hardened over decades of heartbreak and hope. The clock keeps ticking, the locker room whispers intensify, and the next move could shift everything. Who claims the last roster spot, who hits the waiver wire first, and whose true grit surfaces under pressure. From the ashes of this chaos, the question remains, will the Lions rise anew with their guns blazing, or will this injury ripple into a ripple of doubt that the league's rival predators will sense, strike, and leave a scar that'll linger into the season's coldest nights? For me, it's all about that raw Detroit resilience. Show me a team that can weather storms like this, and I'll show you champions in waiting. Because the Lions have always had that fire, whether in the Motor City streets, the endless daylight of preseason, or bleak winter nights when the city's soul refuses to bend. So hang tight, because this is no longer a storyline about just one tight end. This is a battle of guts, strategy, and profoundly human grit. And trust me, when the lights come on, the true Lions will be the ones who step into the darkness and make their mark. The nature of this injury, the timing, and who steps up next, these are the threads that could weave the fabric of a season that defines us, or breaks us either way. One thing's for certain, Detroit's patience is running thin, and the coming days will reveal whether we're roaring back or just another chapter in a long history of what-ifs. But one last thing, if LaPorta's absence sparks a supercharge in the Lions' approach, we better brace ourselves. Because in Detroit, when the chips are down, that's when legends are truly made, and this chapter is yet to be written by the blood, the grit, and the undying heart of a city that refuses to quit. The question is, how will our fearless Lions respond when adversity comes knocking loudest?